Hello guys, David Vos here. Oh buddy, is it a beautiful day here in Alabama. Oh howdy, is it just amazing. A little cooler today. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Guys, you might have heard they're messing around with something down there called CERN, and people are kind of concerned about it. They've chosen this particular date, you know, July 4th, to begin their procedures, or I don't know if they're doing it on the 5th or whatever. I think they're doing it right now on the 5th. And it's like going live on Facebook, and everybody's like, oh my gosh, they're opening up the bottomless pit. Well, are they? What are they doing, guys? What are they really doing over there? Because whatever it is, even if it's only symbolic, that says a lot. Let's say that whatever they're doing is nothing. They can't do a darn thing, which they probably can't. Of course, the devil can do quite a bit, but whatever the devil can do or can't do, it doesn't really matter, because our Father and our Divine Mother cannot allow, of course, for all mankind to be, swallowed up in some dark abyss. However, the Bible does say there will be a day of judgment and the bottomless pit will be opened and da-da-da-da. And so what's all that about? Well, it doesn't sound too sweet, does it? So we've got some information for you. I put together some thoughts on the matter. I've had a few people ask me to do this, and I have done videos in the past about this. But of course, at that time, we weren't in the middle of the end of the world and the Great Tribulation looming and all of that. So, things have taken on a bit of a twist here, and we're getting ready to see some stuff. By the way, they're not hiding the fact that they are trying to bring the beast up out of the pit. This goes back to, Aleister Crowley, who was trying to empower the beast, or the beginning of the Illuminati and the Freemasons and the Rosicrucians and so forth, the Edward Kelly and the John Dees, who opened up the bottomless pit and created the Illuminati, basically, from demonic activity. And we've talked about that. But look at what kind of symbology is going on there with the 666. Now that couldn't be good. Oh, and look at this beautiful picture of Venus, supposedly. Not that I believe that's actually Venus, but, when I look at that, if that were an actual picture of Venus and not some sort of marble painting or something that they've done, it makes me think that maybe Venus is a little bit more like Earth than they want us to believe. We wouldn't know, but to me, I'm looking at that and it just looks like clouds and maybe a lot of water there. Oceans and stuff. But anyway, I digress. It's kind of a pretty picture. But, they're not even trying to hide any of this stuff. The 666 things everywhere. You've got the god Shiva there and all this stuff. And Obama's got all, Newsweek's making fun of Obama. This has, been going on for a while. But let me read you something here I found on Facebook. It says, the concern with CERN is that it represents the Tower of Babel, or Babel, in our lifetime. There are experiments going on today trying to change balance in nature, just to understand the forces that nature has, regardless of the outcome. But their intention is that the Large Hadron Collider, which they have been working on for the last 3 years, will open up another portal on July 5th. The tearing of the veil, as you may say. They have been trying to blow holes in the firmament, as most people know, for ages. This large collider accelerator is made to make huge electromagnetic fields, and its size are 27 kilometers in diameter, and the technology that has been used is similar to what they harvested at the Roswell crash. The Roswell crash area in the 40s, and is exactly the same size as their looking glass they fired up the last time. when they altered our timeline in which we are now living. Well, I don't know about that. People were talking about the Mandela effect and stuff, and I'm not sure about that, but it says now they want to change it again into a lower frequency of fear, where control is in their order. Well, I'm not really sure that that's what they're trying to do, but I mean, it's speculation, I suppose. But I mean, to say it without proof would be kind of speculation. But with all the evidence that we're going to put forth here today, we can prove that that's what they're trying to do. If we didn't know that already, with the war going on, the famines and the pestilences and the thingy thing and all of that. But yeah, they are. Well, it says they want to use 14 tera electron volt, hoping to open up another dimension, their dragon demon god's world, and thereby to contain the black hole this probably is going to create. And if it can't fit, sorry world, we just swallowed you up, but hopefully we unleashed our beast god. They are playing gods, as always, and they're using our wishes for change to create their world of destruction. Of course, they know we are the real creators, and they are the creatures playing gods on our godly gifts to create. So instead of wishing for change, wish for salvation. Well, that's a beautiful thought, isn't it? But, I always give the illustration. If you're in a trash compactor and you got 5 minutes to live, it's kind of hard to be calm. And I'm kind of sick and tired of people, all over Facebook it's the same thing. You see these people saying, don't worry, be calm. Everything is, just put out good vibrations and da-da-da-da-ba, whatever. Look, you can do that, but you see, what you're supposed to get out of that, if you're really trying to be positive, what is positive in the face of evil? It is to stand in your integrity, to save your children, to tell the world what's going on, warn them. Don't go into your house and say, oh, everything is wonderful, when it's not. That's not the way we're supposed to roll. So, I'll go ahead and read this because it's interesting. It says, the Large Hadron Collider at CERN is the largest machine on Earth with a dark mission. CERN is named after Cernunnos, the Celtic god of the underworld. CERN is located in St. Genus Puli in Roman times. This city was called Apolliacum and was dedicated to the Roman god Apollo. Remember, Apollo was the god of the bottomless pit. It is also believed that the people who lived there believed it was a gateway to the underworld. Revelation 9 tells us that during the fifth trumpet, the bottomless pit will be opened and the fallen angel army led by Apollo, the destroyer, will be on earth during the tribulation to torment those who are unsaved. Interestingly enough, at CERN stands a statue of Shiva, the Hindu deity of destruction. Furthermore, the rings of CERN mirror the rings of Saturn, which is Satan. We've talked about that. The elite believe that Saturn is a prison planet for the fallen angels. Even the logo of CERN is the number of the beast, 666. Directors at CERN have also stated that they intend to open dimensional doors. Thus, the real mission of CERN is to release Apollo and the fallen angels on the earth during the New World Order. Only if and when our Divine Father and Mother in heaven allows them to do so. Very, very interesting. So, I want to show you, they've got this thing going live on your Facebook. If you go to Facebook, you'll see several of these things popping up where they're showing it live. This is a really big deal, according to them. Okay, it's a big deal for us because we're literally watching the end of the world commence. Take a look.
I see Luca Malgeri, spokesperson of CMS, ready for commenting the beginning of round 3 at the CMS. Hi, Luca, can you hear me well?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, very
well. Of course, they're trying to, again, be transparent. They're trying to, CERN has gotten a bad rap the last few years with all, as it should. I think they're trying to make it more benign than what it is. We know what it is. They're not hiding really anything from us. One of their own, Dr. Berlut, or I can never pronounce his name. Give me a second. One of their own, Dr. Bartolucci, said, he's a top physicist there, and he admitted that they were opening portals. He admitted that something may come through. And the stability that they had, that's why they needed this much power, is to stabilize these, whatever they were opening. This is not a coincidence. We don't believe in coincidences here.
What are they doing? Well, of course we know. It's pretty obvious. Summoning their god, the devil. Here he comes. It's like a wedding, huh? Maybe they're getting married to Satan. Well, they can do what they want, if that's what they want. But they can't take the innocent children with them. The Lord won't allow that. Let them play out their nonsense. I feel very sad for these sad people. Well, this goes on, this insanity. So what really is this thing called CERN? Okay, it is a Large Hadron Collider, a time machine. Switzerland? Is that up there at that little area we call the Bavarian, Bohemian, German site, where the Bohemian Grove members meet in California, where the Bavarian Illuminati in 1776 created the Illuminati there? I mean, what is with these people? They control the bank? Isn't it the Swiss bank that controls the world? And I guess they're into chocolate too, Swiss mix. Switzerland's Large Hadron Collider, LHC, can be called a time machine in one sense. It enables us to examine conditions as they were during the universe's early stages. But is the 27-kilometer long particle accelerator a time machine of kind in science fiction? In other words, can it create conditions that allow matter, radiation, or information to travel back and forth in time? In 2009, Holger Nielsen and Maso Ninmomiya, both respectable physicists, I don't know about respectable or respectable, but they're probably, physicists, if you think that's something, proposed that retrocausal influences from the future could have been responsible for the LHC's initial failure to operate, with nature effectively sabotaging efforts to get it up and running. Well, I hope it was the Lord that was sabotaging it, because I'm seriously disliking the whole thing. This calls to mind the grandfather paradox. And one possible response to it, which goes something like this. If you travel into the past to kill your grandfather, thus preventing your own existence, events would intervene to frustrate any such attempt. What are they talking about? Is this some sort of game we're playing? Everybody around the world is looking at this and going, oh, I don't understand. You know? Right at the moment where we all know that they're preparing a transition from the old world to some new world order, right at the point when they're declaring a new pandemic is coming. I mean, before it's even here, they've been predicting it for, Fauci and Bill Gates. Oh, it's coming. And they're buying up, whatever, pharmaceutical drugs to combat it. But, and of course, we can't say any more about that because we're not allowed to. And right at the point where, everybody's predicting famines and food shortages, we've seen all the factories that make food being burned down. Already, the stores are out of a whole bunch of stuff. The gas, there's a war, a world war starting, could have a nuclear war here with the Ukraine thing. And, there's a concept that maybe the gas prices will keep going up. Well, of course it will. Because Elon Musk is selling electric cars. And Ford and Chevy and Dodge and Volvo and all the other Toyotas and Datsuns and, they don't make Nissans, whatever. These car companies don't make gas cars anymore. They're phasing them out. And I think Ford only makes one gas-powered vehicle. All the others are going to be making electric cars now. So of course they're not going to be, they don't care whether the gas prices go through the roof. The point is that at this juncture in our history, when we know beyond any shadow of a doubt, and if you don't know that, then I guess you're not paying any attention, that they are literally gearing up to try and take out the God particle in the human being. They're training our children in school to believe they're vampires or that if they're boys, they probably should be girls. And we've got doctors around the world literally performing procedures on children. But, I could go on. And I think that for those of you who understand all of this already, I'm just preaching to the choir. And those of you who don't know a thing about what I'm saying, have no clue, then there's no amount of me going on and on and wasting time here talking about it. You'll never understand this. You're not going to get it. But for those of us who get this, what's going on, this juncture in time, and the fact that we're literally coming down to the end of the world, and the Bible says that the bottomless pit shall be opened, and the demons and the evil forces. And if you don't believe that's what that means, go back just a couple of verses in Revelation where it says that there are angels from heaven. Any angel that comes down from heaven is from the Lord. Because all the demons are subject to Satan, who's going to be bound in the bottomless pit. And at the moment, there are certain angels that send, according to the Apostle Peter, who are bound in Tartarus until the day of judgment. Well, we're in the day of judgment. So the until the day of judgment means they'll be released. And so Revelation says the angels came down and untied the angels that were bound? Yeah, they were tied and bound at the river Euphrates. And then right after that, boom, the bottomless pit is opened and all comes these scorpion-looking, evil, wicked, nasty creatures up out of the hell, and the smoke ascends out of the pit, and all hell breaks loose. So, obviously, at this critical juncture, it's pretty obvious why they're trying to literally make a pit. They dug a hole deep into the earth, deeper than they've ever dug. And they're calling this thing CERN, which is some ancient devil god, and Apollo, which is what Revelation says has the key to the bottomless pit. Apollyon. And, of course, the Antichrist, his name is Apollo. All throughout the New Testament. Right? The son of destruction. Destruction. Apollo. And so, over there at CERN, they dedicated it to Shiva, which is the Hindu god of destruction. So could there be any doubt what they're trying to do? Or what kind of insanity? They're over there dancing and acting like this is wonderful. So, with all of this happening at this precise moment in time, they choose July the 4th to do their little thingy thing, whatever they're doing, opening up the bottomless pit. But I don't know if you guys know, but at this very juncture, maybe the most important point to note is that in that verse in the Bible there in Revelation, it says that the 4 angels, they were untied at the great river Euphrates. They were bound. It says that the river dried up, which gave way for the kings of the east to come and start World War III or whatever this is, the great war of Yahweh, who's coming in his wrath to destroy the world. And there's going to be this great war. And so the kings of the east, now I don't know if that's China or what they're talking. I don't think it's India. Don't think they've got that kind of evil intent, or they don't have nuclear weapons. They don't have that kind of armies. I don't think it's Afghanistan. I don't think they're talking about, I don't know. It's got to be China, right? Well, we get a clue right there in the book of Revelation, I think chapter 9, where it says that the kings of the east have a 200 million man army. Now, of course, that's probably, in some sense, the demonic forces, the demons. But interestingly enough, there is only one nation on this planet that has the ability to put up a 200 million man army, and that is China. And of course, if that was combined with the Russian armies and all their missiles coming up out of their bottomless pit, under the ocean, their submarines, these missiles, I mean, it's either way, it will be fulfilled by these kings of the East. So I don't know what it means, because are the Chinese troops going to literally march on horses or something across thousands of miles and cross the river Euphrates and come into Europe that way? Maybe they will. Tanks rolling. Well, we know right now we're at this time, this war with the Ukraine. So Russia's taking sides with China. So the kings of the east, there's plural. And Russia's definitely east of Palestine. It's east of Europe. It's east of the United States. It's in the eastern. Russia has territory all the way to China. They border each other. So the kings of the east could include other people, such as North Korea and others. But the kings of the east come to create this, it somehow corresponds and parallels the event of the bottomless pit immediately afterwards being opened and the demons going forth. Evil going forth. So, at this critical juncture, in actual time, as we speak, this has never happened before, as far as we know. the Euphrates River has now dried up. And that's what it says. It says the Euphrates River shall dry up, making way for the kings of the east. Let me show you a little picture here. Well, before I show you that picture, I want to read you Revelation 16. The sixth angel poured out his bowl on the great river Euphrates, and its water was dried up to prepare the way for the kings of the east. All right? Now let me show you this.
Euphrates River is completely drying up. Why the world is very silent about it? Syria is in the grips of the worst drought in 70 years. Millions of Syrians face water crisis. The reasons are both environmental and man-made. Less water flowing into the river from upstream, accompanied by irregular and reduced rainfall and higher than average temperatures, has created drought-like conditions in the region, according to the UN report. The severity of the situation in Syria, say some experts, is largely attributed to the impact of climate change in the region. The Kabor has run completely dry like other rivers, lakes and dams across the war-ravaged country, where crops are failing, livestock is dying and clean drinking water is becoming increasingly scarce. At the location of the Keban Dam, the two rivers, now combined into the Euphrates, have dropped to an elevation of 693 meters. From Keban to the Syrian-Turkish border, the river drops another 368 meters over a distance of less than 600 kilometers. In 2021, the Iraqi government report said that the water will last until 2040, but looking at the situation, it will be dried sooner.
And look at this. It says Islamic prophecies. In Islam, some of the hadiths of the Prophet Muhammad suggest that the Euphrates will dry up, revealing unknown treasures that will be the cause of strife and war. Soon the river Euphrates will disclose the treasures, the mountain of gold. So whoever will be present at that time should not take anything of it. The Prophet Muhammad said, "The hour will not come to pass before the river Euphrates dries up, to unveil the mountain of gold for which people will fight. 99 out of 100 will die, and every man among them will say, 'Perhaps I may be the only one to remain alive.'" Wow. Muhammad said, "The Euphrates reveals the treasures within itself. Whoever sees it should not take anything from it." Well, that is pretty interesting because take a look at this. This says, "In People, ancient city unearthed in Iraq after extreme drought dries up the Tigris River," archaeologists say. The Bronze Age city surfaced earlier this year after large amounts of water were drawn from the Mosul Reservoir to prevent crops from drying out, according to researchers from the University of Tübingen in Germany. But there is this thing that's some sort of city that's just popped up out of this whole drought situation. It says, during excavations between January and February, including a massive fortification with a wall and towers, a monumental multi-story storage building, and an industrial complex, the university said in its release. The lost city, which is believed to have existed from 1550 to 1350 BC, which is before Moses, previously served as an extensive urban complex with the Mitanni Empire. Related 250 ancient mummy coffins and 150 bronze statues discovered in Egyptian necropolis. It is close to a miracle that cuneiform tablets made of unfired clay survive so many decades under the water, said Dr. Peter Flausner, a professor at the University of Tübingen. Usually when these things are uncovered, it like the Dead Sea Scrolls or the Nag Hammadi Library, it just changes our understanding of everything. So we'll have to see what actually they are going to find, but I wouldn't doubt that there will be something to do with something like gold or in I don't know what could cause the world to come to war because they found some gold, right? I don't know what that's talking about, but we'll soon find out. Perhaps the gold is symbolic of something or some new way of currency. You know, Russia, China did create just the other day a new currency to bypass the dollar system. They've got a whole new banking system. And we know that the rest of the world's going through this, coming to some mutual agreement to have a reset and start a whole new buying and selling system. The Bible says they won't be able to buy or sell without the mark of the beast. And the beast is coming out of the bottomless pit. So it has something to do with gold or buying and selling, as far as I can tell. But we'll have to wait and see on that. Apollo. Remember the Apollo mission? I'm beginning to see a pattern here. It seems like after World War II, 1945, when they brought over the German Bavarian scientists, created NASA. Right after that, they started the space travel with NASA and all this stuff, and all the lies. But they went on these missions, and it was always about Apollo. Even in that movie, The 100, that I was telling you guys about, in the end, after it's all over and they destroyed the world in nuclear war, there was this little cult on Earth still worshiping Apollo, right? This downed aircraft that they found, they scraped off the dust and it said Apollo or something. So there's definitely something that they're trying to tell us about this Apollo, commemorating America's teamwork, achievements, and missions that resulted in the first 12 humans. 12? That movie, The 100, they ended up, their God, or whoever this God is in the movie, judges mankind unfit to live, right? Or something. And then somehow they change their mind because they get real mad at him. Well, how dare you, whatever. The people on earth stamp their feet and tell God, we're, we don't care. Bye-bye. You're worse than we are. So they consented to allow 12 people to survive. Interesting. There's always these 12. And it's like they're trying to recreate all the ancient history that our divine father and mother made, and trying to recreate the whole thing and start over with 12 and remake the whole thing in their own image. So the first 12 humans to explore the surface of the moon. An official NASA medallion series. Well, they even make coins commemorating the thing, and there's monuments and books and movies and yada, 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 yada. What's going on, guys? According to this, CERN is located where the ancient temple of Apollo was located. Revelation 9:11. And they had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in Hebrew tongue is Abaddon. Abba, Father, Abby. Adon, Adonai, Yahweh Adonai. But in the Greek tongue has his name Apollyon, the God of vengeance, the God of destruction, who's coming in his wrath. Remember, friends, if you're a Christian, if you believe in Jesus and receive the free gift of eternal life just by accepting it, you don't earn it, you simply believe and receive. You choose. You make the choice. You go with the devil, this new world order, you start murdering each other and reveling around in drunken bouts and killing, whatever they're going to do, right? Get the mark and tattoo on your forehead, run around declaring yourself a vampire, whatever you want to do, right? Cut off your body parts. If you choose that darkness, then there's nothing anyone can do to help you. We're trying to offer you eternal life. Jesus, we can't offer it to you, but we can give you the message of the good news that Jesus is offering you eternal life. And all you have to do is receive it. So, where is this Temple of Apollo? Is this really true? Let's look at this. This is a very interesting article. It says Apollo's Temple. There's a little town in Switzerland called St. Genus Poli. Until the 1960s, this place was relatively small in commerce and population. Part of the name Puli comes from the Latin Apolloiacum. It seems this place once was a town named after the Greek god Apollo. And there's the beautiful picture of Apollo riding his horse, coming up out of the bottomless pit to destroy the world. Apollo is no small character. He had a major cult and was heralded as the god of music, medicine, poetry, and truth, just to name a few. Conversely, he also was attributed with plague, ill health, and destruction. Interesting that that's exactly the things that they're planning on unleashing on the world. I mean, who was it that just warned us that the plague is going to return here in just a minute? I think it was Fauci. I just read it on Facebook. They're predicting it's going to return. You know, we've been talking about the smallpox and la-di-la-di. Well, it says his name was considered to be associated with the Greek verb apollumi, which means to destroy. As with many gods of ancient religions, there are similar deities across cultures. The names change, but the stories are quite the same. For example, Apollo, well, let's go down here where it says that the Babylonian Shamush, as well as the Hindu god Rudra, also called Shiva. Now, they're not hiding the fact that this is about Apollo and Shiva. They built it over the temple of Apollo, guys. Shiva is a destroyer, heralded as being limitless and transcendent. Some worship him as the supreme deity. He's also a god of music and dance. He's a cosmic dancer, which brings us to this current installation on Apollo's old lands in Switzerland in front of the CERN building. As you may know, this is where the Higgs boson was discovered. There are talks now of opening up a portal to another dimension. Is it not curious that there's a religious figure in front of a major scientific structure? What happened to the argument that science and religion can't mix? Anyway, there's talks of possibly opening a black hole. This sounds to me like a practical term for the mythical bottomless pit. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? No? Am I oversimplifying? Am I a fear-mongering? Is it not appropriate for me to be concerned? Yes, my friend, it is appropriate that you are concerned. So he goes on and talks about this, and I think it's very interesting. He goes on to quote Revelation 9:11. That's interesting, but let's dig a little further. Look at this article here. It says, the Swiss cities of Zurich, Geneva, and Basel are home to several international organizations, including the World Trade Organization, the World Health Organization, the World Economic Forum, the International Labor Organization, headquarters of the International Federation of Association Football, the second largest office of the United Nations, the Bank for International Settlements, the International Olympic Committee, the International Telecommunication Union. Remember, CERN is where they invented the internet. The United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, and about 200 other international organizations. As such, Switzerland is home to citizens of the majority of the world's countries. Is something up here, guys? World Trade Organization headquarters, right there. Woo! They'll neither buy nor sell unless they get the mark of the beast, which is coming up out of this World Organization headquarters. For example, 162 countries, not including Switzerland itself or the European community, are members of the World Trade Organization. Another 25 countries have observer status. Approximately 177 of those 187 countries have resident delegations to the World Trade Organization. So there are people from at least 177 different countries living in Switzerland just from the delegations to the World Trade Organization. All right, look at this. Switzerland, gateway to the Alps and gateway to hell. It is pretty much now confirmed the gates of hell are in this alpine nation we know as Switzerland. Where exactly is a little unclear. Conspiracy theorists are torn between two locations, the new Gotthard Tunnel and the CERN particle accelerator in Geneva. The internet, which proffers a truth to every conceivable oddball, is abuzz with Switzerland's most recent satanic showcase on June 1st of the opening ceremony of the Gotthard Tunnel. If you missed it, it went something like this. A giant mechanized worm eats deep into the bowels of hell to the delight of the half-naked demonic angel and lesbians, pagans, demons, goat gods, and catatonic orange zombies in front of the delighted elite of the New World Order. The ceremony was captured in all its terrible glory by the Swiss television. It was also edited and recaptured and rebroadcasted by lesser-known media practitioners, mostly American, with names such as The Vigilant Citizen, Bible False Prophet, Now the End Begins, and Watchman of the Sword, The New American, The End of the American Dream, and Prophecy News Watch, Before It's News, True News, and on and on. The Gotthard Tunnel dedication ceremony was blatant satanic ritual. Oh, but this thing over there in CERN has nothing to do with religion, guys, and nothing to do with the Bible or the opening of the bottomless pit. It's just some scientific experiment. Satan seized the opportunity to glorify himself and desecrate the high place of Europe in the year 2016 for sanctification. The European leaders went along with it because Satan, as the world ruler, installed them. Huh? Oh, that's good they're telling the truth. The satanic and sodomite imagery surrounding the opening of the tunnel showed the artistic and religious preferences of the globalist elite. The opening of the tunnel was a symbolic anti-Christian act of devil worship. So we've got that connection. But more about this Temple of Apollo. So what are they doing down there? Well, take a look at this, guys. A fake ritual killing filmed in a courtyard at CERN, the Geneva Particle Physics Research Complexes, prompted an investigation. Yeah, they didn't know this was going on. Huh? No, they knew perfectly well. This was a ritual by the demonic evil Satanists that run the world. Well, if you don't believe what I just said, I want to read you something here. Moses Holbrook was secret head of the Synagogue of Satan in America during the first half of the 19th century. He used the Kabbalistic rites as taught by Moses Mendelssohn when initiating specially selected candidates into Satanism as practiced in the higher degrees of Grand Orient Masonry in France and Italy by Cremieux and Mazzini, respectively. The Kabbalah's Talmudic teachings, Satanism was substituted for the books of Moses during the times that the Judeans, so-called, were captive in Babylon. Because some of the founding fathers of America had been openly anti this, and because the manner in which Illuminism had been exposed as having infiltrated into American Masonry, and because those who directed the activities of the Illuminati were mostly men who called themselves this, even if they were not, and lied about the matter, Albert Pike, who wrote Morals and Dogma, was the head of the Freemasons, decided that he would pretend to clean out this group and their control in America as far as Freemasonry was concerned. We will prove later that we are justified in using the word pretend. He also decided that because the Illuminati were becoming suspect as directing the WRM, he would reorganize Palladianism and establish councils throughout the world to take the place of lodges of the Grand Orient and the Illuminati. In other words, Pike decided to set up a different front in order to give the Synagogue of Satan, which directs the WRM at the top a new phase. He was determined to throw historians and research workers off the scent, which stank to high heaven after Captain Morgan was murdered. Moses Mendelssohn's ritual for the higher degrees of Grand Orient Masons was known as the Black Mass. By the way, friends, Jehovah's Witnesses have taken over this predominantly in the world. There are millions of Jehovah's Witnesses that every year perform a Black Mass. This is where they all come around the time of Jesus' death and the Last Supper, the communal meal, and they pass it around. And everybody that, all the Jehovah's Witnesses pass it around, and they refuse and reject the body and blood of Jesus Christ. And that is called the Black Mass. And of course, they call themselves Jehovah's Witnesses. And they have denied the deity of Jesus Christ. This is not just Jehovah's Witnesses, of course. The Unification Church and many others are doing the same thing. These were all organizations started by the elite. We won't name them here, but they are the Illuminati that in Bavaria created by Adam Weishaupt in 1776. And before he ever came along in that Bavarian area, that is where John Dee and Edgar Kelly brought up from the bottomless pit the demons who were asked to create an organization, and they ended up doing that, and they called it Freemasonry, and they, with the help of Satan, took over the world. So that's what the Black Mass is, and there are several groups that are pretending this all around the world. Many of them are secret orders or societies like the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society or other secret societies that are carrying on this Black Mass, and their intention is to bring in a New World Order. So they published the New World Order Bible, which is complete. Don't read that Bible. Don't have it in your home. If you find them, just chuck them, because we don't want the word of the Lord to be misrepresented like that. So its words and ceremonies express bitter hatred of Christ and Christianity. Pike suggested to Moses Holbrook that it would be a good idea if they revised and modernized the ceremony of the Black Mass so that it didn't appear so Talmudic. Holbrook agreed and worked with Pike, so ended up creating Jehovah's Witnesses, which is the heads, the CEOs of all the big companies all around the world. Which, by the way, I was disfellowship excommunicated personally by the president of AT&T. Remember, I was born and raised Jehovah's Witness, and they threw out my whole family when I was about 15, and I was excommunicated for speaking out against them when I was 18, many years ago. I know all about this evil ritual, pedophilia, elite group of people that's running the world. And it isn't good, friends. Holbrook died before the task was completed, and Pike completed the work alone. He called the new ceremonial the Adonicide Mass, which means the death of God. It was on Pike's doctrine that Nietzsche in Germany based his ideas and theories calculated to bring about the death of God, so that the devil could reign in peace and security. We know these theories as Nietzscheism. And it's a serious thing, friends. The whole New World Order was based on all of this. And here they are now trying to open up the bottomless pit. You remember Aleister Crowley, also from the same Bavarian area, who knew Hitler and was friends with them. They were both double agents. Created the Temple Ordi in Pasadena or somewhere in California down there. And his students was Anton LaVey, one who created the Satanic Church and created the satanic rock and roll music, flashing all the signs in the rock and roll music. Parsons, who created NASA. Von Braun, whose great-grandchild is Elon Musk, who wrote a book saying that that a man named Elon would take the world to Mars. And L. Ron Hubbard, who created the Church of Scientology, which is now running Hollywood. All of these individuals were all brought over to America by Charles Taze Russell, the founder of Jehovah's Witnesses. That's right. I did a whole series on that, friends, so go back if you want to find out more about that. But this is serious business, friends. So anyway, I think I'll just go ahead and close it here. We're coming down to a little over 50 minutes, so we'll get back at you guys tomorrow. I hope you have a wonderful day, and go out there and tell the world. You know, that's going to be up to us. We're the light of the world, friends. Go out there and tell your family, your friends, and everyone you can know and you see about what's going on. Tell your family and everyone about Jesus and his love. Well, I'm going to go ahead and go. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one.